So now we're going to tackle the cone and the pyramid form. So these forms are, I think, secondary to the cube, the sphere, and the cylinder, but nonetheless they're excellent friends too. That they're your good acquaintances. So I think you'll probably use them a little bit less than the others. But if you're an architect or you're a designer of some sort, of any kind, you might use these actually more often than I might think you do. So this lesson came as a request from a student in the UK named Nikki Singh. So Nikki, this one is for you. Shout out to you. But all other students out there, anywhere, if you have an idea for something that you want to see that you're having trouble with, you have difficulty with, let me know, and if I can get to it, I'll get to it. It might take me a little bit of time. I'm pretty busy, but I'll be happy to if I can get to it. All right, so today I'm going to draw with charcoal. This is a hard charcoal pencil. So when I'm doing diagrammatic drawings, I don't like to do anything to use anything too soft, but I did want to use charcoal, but it's a hard charcoal pencil, so it's a pretty hard material, so it's a little bit easier to control with lighter values for now for line. And then I'll probably use some Sharpies for writing and also for some sketching too as well, and of course my trusty hard edge. Okay, so let's get started. So I think it's good to show where the antecedents or the beginnings of where a pyramid and a cone come from. So with a pyramid, the antecedent to that, or the beginnings of that, came from, or we get it out of the cube. So I'll throw down a 2-point cube here so we can see it. I think it's important to relate back to where we get things, and in this case certainly the pyramid. So we have this cube here, 2-point cube, just sketching it out. You can see sometimes I use a ruler, but I try not to be too stiff with it, so I vary my line weight as I can. So here we go. We've got that 2-point cube, right? Okay. And so that's where we're going to get the pyramid from. And then to get the cone later on, we got that from the cylinder, right? So we have our ellipse here. So I can put down the ellipse, and then I'll bring down the straight line of, or the length of the tube on the left and the right, through here, and then we'll draw our ellipse through. Okay, if you want to draw the back of it, that's fine. A little bit more curved than the top because we're looking down on it a little bit further right, at least in this view for sure. And I can tighten this up a little bit. And I like to make the corners just running through just a touch perceptually darker so we can really see them. Okay, so we have that. So we have the cube, the 2-point cube, and then we have our cylinder here in space, so we can start to relate these forms now to our lecture lesson, the cone and also the pyramid. So let's see where these came from, right? So we have here to here, okay? So with the pyramid, it might be interesting to you. I could do it in a couple different ways. So I'll just sketch out first where they come from and how we can get them, and then we'll move on to a drawing with where they're in many different arrangements. So you see it in many different ways, and you can practice that. And then lastly, I'll tie them into a little bit of foreshortening so you can see them as well. So with the pyramid, I'll put down a 2-point base first, and I'm going to draw them in different procedures so you don't get stuck on one way to draw them. I think that's going to be important, in different shapes too as well. So I'll start out with a 2-point plane forming through here, and I'll kind of tighten it up, right? Through here and through here and through here, okay? And then what we can do is to bring up our vertical, we can find the center of that plane by drawing a crossing X here, right? See that? Okay. So then we can go just straight up vertical. I'll go about this far. Make sure we keep you in camera. Here, running through there. Okay. So that's a straight vertical coming from the center. So from the ends of our plane here, right? Okay. And end of our plane here. here, up to the center apex, to the end of our plane here, right? And if you want to get really technical, inside, now keep it lighter, right there, we have a pyramid, okay? So that's pretty easy, I think. It's not too bad to figure out, and that's a 2-point form because we have a plane going back this way, correct? And we have a plane going back that way in space to two different vanishing points where they converge out. And of course, I could put a little tone on this so you can see it, and I'll darken up this line a little bit so you can see it there. We can swing through. So these are good friends, these are good acquaintances too. I don't think they're as important as the cylinder, the cube, and the sphere. I think those are even more elementary than this one, but I think these are nice and relevant too. And then I'll tone this one down a little bit as well. So that's a 2-point pyramidal form. You have 4 sides. Of course, you could make a triangular-like pyramid too. Let's do one that's 1 point to show you a little bit difference in the base. And so we'll lay down a plane here, okay, and then we'll bring it back in space this way. We'll flow back to an implied vanishing point in this way. We'll bring this one back here as well, right, to an implied vanishing point that way. And then I can cut off the end of where I think I want my depth to be, okay, of my plane. So we're drawing a plane that, in a sense, we could say is touching the ground, okay? All right, so we have that, and we have that, and we have that, right, and we have the back now. So we're good to go. So now let's draw a centering X, or a crossing X, if you will, from one corner to the next, here to here, and then from back to front, okay? I'll put a little dot there that tells me that's where the center is. And now I can draw a straight line, nice 90-degree line up a little bit. Try to keep you in camera here. We'll go up. Right about, here is pretty good. Nice and straight line. You could angle it, but then the object is going to be off center, which is okay, I suppose. But for now, we'll keep it on center. So I'll mark kind of where I want my height to be. And then from the 4 corners of my plane, we'll draw. And see, I'm going to change this, because see how this aligns to the back? I don't want that to align so neatly. I'm going to make it a little shorter. I'm going to put it about right here. Okay, so I can show you this alignment on the back end as we see through it. So I'll change my angle from this corner to this corner here. Do the front first, from this corner, the right corner, back to the top, right through there, okay? Now the backs we'll see a little bit, from the back right to the apex point here, and then from the back left to the apex point right through there, and then we'll darken these in a little bit. Okay, and so now we have a 1-point pyramid. Do you see the difference? This is flat across, right? And I haven't really gone into perspective. I have some older videos out there before we got the nice new equipment camera, and I'm going to redo all my perspective lectures, and then we're going to go much, much deeper over time. Just stay tuned out there and be patient. Be patient, and we'll get to some really in-depth kinds of things. So this is straight horizontal. That's 1 point. There's no convergence line. It's horizontal to the top and bottom picture plane. And you see how that goes back into space there, right? And so that takes us back to one vanishing point. So that's 1 point, that's 2 point. And that's why they look a little bit different, but they're both 4-sided pyramids. So I can give a little tone here. By the way, when you're toning down forms, boxes or cubes, if you have one light source coming from here, right, all planes will receive light differently. And the sides that receive the least amount of light, like this plane over here, will be the darkest plane, right in through here. Okay? And I think that's important to understand. I'll get into that later too as well, but we did want you to see that as well. And so it's kind of a 1, 2, 3 step shading process. 1, light, medium, and dark as well. But that's not as important right now. Okay, so we have the rudiments of where our pyramids come from. They come from the cube, the cubic box. In this case, a 2-point and then a 1-point through there as well. All right, so now let's discuss and demonstrate together the cone. And we'll put the cones out and through here. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is I'll show you, we'll draw a cylinder. We'll put it inside a cylinder. I could have put these inside a box, but I think you get the idea through here. So we'll draw the cylinder and we'll keep it really light, sketchy, and we'll bring it down here and here. So there's the cylinder, okay? The next thing I want to do is find the general center right in through here. So there's my center, okay? Now I can bring that point up, and I better find the center here too to show you that. Here, in here, and there's a little dot, put a little dot there, right in through there, okay? And then I can bring a construction line up, center line, right in through there. It goes through those 2 dots. Make sure you do that. It's got to go through those 2 dots. You're good to go when you do that. Then after that, from the edge of our cylinder, okay, we're going to now, like Michelangelo, we're going to sculpt away the fat part of the cylinder, and we're going to bring it up to this apex, this true center, with a line here, okay, and a line angled to that here and here. I don't know what the angle of that is. Mathematicians, geometrists, if that's even a word. Geometry students, you'll know it. It's been a long time since I've done geometry for a good reason. All right, and so what do you see now? You have the bases of our cone already. How about that? That's pretty technical and really, right, pretty easy. And now the next difference is that, remember, the pyramid and the cube, right, are boxy form. So cube, make sure you can see that cube, you know, they're box-like, and they have planes, right? And so they change really distinct directions really quickly. Well, the cylinder in some cases is what? It's like the sphere. And how is that? Well, it has a rounded body to it. Okay? It has that rounded, you know, kind of quality. And so what I mean is this area. That's a rounded, smooth surface. That's a rounded, smooth surface, correct? And so the same thing now happens with the cone. And so what we can say about that is this is a nice smooth turn, right? And so all along the way, we get what? We get those nice ellipses throughout. So like the cylinder, the cone is a series of shaved ellipses. We're getting closer and closer to eye level, but they're still all open, right? So we have that. That's another nice influence of the cone, is these shaved ellipses that come out too as well. And remember, the ellipse is everywhere. And of course we could shade this a little bit. So if the light source is coming from this direction, I might put my shadow tone down and through here. I'll kind of mark where the form shadow is going to be in through here. And I can start to shape. I like to, again, use my hard edge as an abutting device. So you kind of hear that make that mark there. That means it's hitting against it. I can just keep a cleaner look, and then I can soften that up right in through there. And you could use your hand just to blend a little bit, and then to redraw and make it nice and more integral and clean looking. I'm not a big fan of over smudging, but you can use it a little bit to soften, as long as you give some, I think it gives some mark making back. The great masters, Rubens, Raphael. They all use smudging to a degree, Pontormo, but they didn't over smudge. And I could put a little coarse shadow here, blend it a little bit, and bingo. Now we've got our nice cube sitting down. And if I wanted to, I could put a little cast, we'll put a little cast shadow out here, maybe coming in this direction, right? So it takes on the shape of the form, and through here, and that shadow. And we'll talk about true lighting situations later on. So again, we shaved off, right? We took off that, we took off this area, right, of the cone. And we gave it now a new positioning, okay? And so I think that's great. Now, you know, cones, cylinders can be 1 point, they can be 2 point. This is relatively just a static 1 point form. I don't really think of cones when I draw them is heavy duty 2 point, but I guess I could show you that a little bit and see how we could get that. So let's sketch out another plane or another cylinder that's a little bit more 2 point, and we can work with that together. We'll put it down on its side, and then we'll go on and we'll loosen this up a little bit, keep it a little bit more sketchy, and have a little bit more fun with it. It won't be quite as technical. The thing is that we want to use this in ways that are fresh and free and quick, I think, to a great degree. So let's put a cylinder down this way. So I'll start with an ellipse here, and we're going to go mostly in this direction where the arrow is, and through there, right? So we're going to go here with our ellipse, right? And we'll pull the cylinder back in this direction here. So that's our second direction. So we pull this way, right? And we pull in this way and that way. So we have that. This will get tapered a little bit as it goes back in space. This would taper if we had a thickness going that way. And then we can pull our ellipse back through here, okay? Through there. All right, so we have our beginning form there and through there, okay? So now we can pull kind of the same thing. We'll bring this back ellipse through a little bit. It's a little foreshortening too, right? Okay, and through here. And so let's bring down center line here, a center line over this way, right? Okay. Let's draw a straight line through. They'll meet up right in through here. So we're taking this cone, right, and we're turning it on its side. And it's slightly coming at us, but a little bit more to the right, actually, through there. So there's my height right through here, or my length. There's my dot. Now watch this. From the apex, right, down to the left and right, down below here, okay, and to here, right in through there. So let me tighten that up a little bit for you so you can see it. Right through there, and right through there. And we can start to curve that a little bit. Okay. Come over, come around. Keep that curved and through there. And there you go. There you have your cone now going in this direction. Of course, you can see the structure that we made it from. Then if I want to put it down on a table maybe, or give it a little bit of light, I might show the light source coming from the top above this way, which puts the shadow curving. Remember, like the sphere curving over, so we can put our little form shadow here nice and smooth, right, gradated across a little bit, coming in through here, and then we can start to see maybe there's a shadow coming down. So this shadow might move, and I'm just making up this shadow shape. It might do something kind of like this. And then we could put down a shadow base there. And there you go. Now you've got a cone laying down. Of course, we can give it a little bit of contouring around if we want. And through here, like so. Okay, so that's a cone sitting down. So let's move on to another set of drawings, and we'll just open this up and just draw a lot of pyramids and cones in a lot of different positions. Okay, so again, we got our antecedents here where we came from. which was our cylinder, right? Here, which was rounder, and it was like a sphere to get to our cone. And of course with our box form cube box planes, and that gets us to our pyramid, which looks more geometric. Mostly in this case, they both are. All right, so let's move on to another set of drawings. So let's do some more pyramids and cones and have a little bit of fun with it. And we'll do a lot of variety too as well. We'll take a look at some things. So let's do some more cones and just put it anywhere we want. And I might do a cone a little bit, well, yeah, we'll do a cone a little bit different position. I thought I was going to do a pyramid and I said cone. We'll do a cone. Okay. And we'll use less of the intensity of the technicality that we did last time. So I might take a cone here and then just put it in this direction, right? Just take it, okay, shape it down, maybe curve it out a little bit. They don't have to be so pointy unless you want them to be. They can be all kinds of things, and you can use cones for, gosh, anything you want, drawing hats or drawing rockets or satellites or whatever it is that you want to draw, but it's just another form that you can use to control objects, both imagined, right, and real. And it can be very loose and very sketchy too. It gives you kind of freedom in there. And I'll just put a little tone traveling across the side of that too as well. I might tighten this up just a little bit into here. Okay, down and through. Just to give it a little bit of crispness, hard edge to it there. Okay, so there's one there. Let's do one where, make sure we're in the camera here. It's a little lower. Let me bring that down for you. There you go. Be nice if you could see it, right? Right there. Okay. So let's bring another one here. And we could bring that down. So I might start out with an ellipse. And then it looks kind of like the letter T. And I might bring it to this point and through here. And then I could, well, let me just freehand sketch it. Here, I'm thinking about there to there. Okay, and I could tighten it up here. Right, tighten it up here. So sketch along with me. Keep up, or you can slow down. It's either way. Stop it. And then when you get comfortable, you'll be able to sketch your own in no time. So that's the trick. You need that ellipse. You've got to have that ellipse, right? And you should get in the habit of, when you're sketching, doing this later on lighter, is feeling these elliptical contours in and out of the form of the cone. Right, so here's the back of it, here's the front. And you can do the same thing in here, right here. Bring the front can be darker, lighter ones can kind of disappear. Front darker contour. You like concentric rings here and here. And then also up and through and down this way. And of course that overlaps in through here, so you start to see that even further. I might bring this in, make this a little cleaner for you. That's the kind of the center that we got going back and through there. So get in the habit of doing that quite often, where again you're drawing in the inside of that. I may not do it every time, but if you'll do that, I think you'll be happier that you did, because you're learning how to control and feel that 3D, that three-dimensionality, right, that you want. And then you want to get in your drawings, no matter if you're a designer, an artist, a fine artist, etc. You want to have these tools under your belt. So let's do another cone. And let's see, let's put that cone maybe over here, and we'll give it just a slight tilt. So here's true horizontal. We'll give our ellipse just a slight tilt. Okay. Sometimes I put a little dot, and that's okay. That's where I want the fullness of my ellipse to be right in through there. And I can say, okay, I want the height to be right in through there. Okay, and then I can take my points here and points here to there to tighten up those ends. And you can round it if you want. Bring that to include, kind of looks like a satellite or a kind of a space dish of some sort, a capsule on the end of a rocket engines. And through here, so we have our cone there, and I could put a little tone on it and through here, like so. Maybe put some on the back side and through here, if I want to. Curve that around, get that through, like that. And if you smudge a little bit, you could just take your eraser. Since it's nice and hard charcoal, it's not too bad, too dominant and through there. So use these drawing tools, the cube, the sphere, the cylinder, the cone, the pyramid, in fresh ways. Draw them, draw all kinds of imagined objects. Later on we'll do a smash-up drawing in another video where we combine objects. That was another recommendation. And we can do that and show you all kinds of ways to combine forms, both imaginative and real. So I could play off this one, I could play off its opposite. I could do this, right? So I could play this movement against that movement, and I could draw my ellipse here, right? We could do that. But then I could say, instead of coming here, all of a sudden, we could go downward. Ooh, how about here to here? Make it maybe a little bit shorter. Make all kinds of different short, stocky ones, long, thin ones. So the point is to get lots of variety and see what the possibilities are as you're growing your artistic vision in your mind. And boy, the earlier you can start something like this, you know, the better. And so what we're going to get to with this one is, this one's going to be open. And what do I mean by that? Remember we talked about earlier, this is closed, you know, this is opaque, so I'm showing you that we see through it a little bit just to show the ellipse, but this one's truly open where we're looking down on this plane in through here. So this line I can make even darker, right in through there. Here's our curved plane coming down through here, so I can run this claw across as it's cut through, and then this this cylinder type smooth surface comes across right this way and goes back in space. A little bit darker on this edge, we can make it for now if we want, because it turns right in this direction, and of course this one turns right in that direction too, so we can make it a little bit darker in through there, and maybe leave a little reflected light on the edge of it. Make this a little bit stronger shadow if you want it to. Right in through there. Then I can come across, clean up this edge a little bit. So we have another cone. We just played with the direction. Up, down, closed, and open. Excuse me, too, as well. So let's put some more cones, starting with the ellipse. Okay, maybe I'll go in this direction, so I'll find my center really quickly. Here's my center. Which way do I want it to go? It needs to be from this line, it needs to be generally 90 degrees. Excuse me, got a little tickle there. Needs to be 90 degrees, so I'll put a little 90 degree mark in through there. And so from my edges here and here, the end of the ellipse, right, the ellipse there, right in through to the top of the cone, here and here. You can start to sketch that even further, and then we can start to come around nicely with our edge. You want this nice and curved all the way through. You never want it to end in a point like that, like that. You want it to curve. Always be curving. A, B, C. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. You always want to be curving in that edge sense, in that way. So that's important. So we get that through here. We can put a little tone up and around. We want this to go nice and around our form through here. Like so. I can shade it this way or give it tone either way. Here I do length, and this here is width. You can do one or the other, or you can do a little both and blend them, make it smooth. If you force the cross hatching too much, you might miss the point of the roundness of the object, so just be careful with that. It's important to know. And I'll make this darker so really can start to see that turn a little bit more, catch that edge of our cone-like form. Here, and down and over, and through there. Okay, so let's do some more. Let's do one where I'll find the height first, right? So I'll do it this way. So I could do it that way, change the procedure up a little bit, and then I can do my ellipse like so. Okay. And then how long do I want to make my cone? Do I want to make it really short? Do I make it really long like that? I'll just end it right there. I'll put a point down, and I'll connect edge to edge. Here and here, in there and there. Look at that, bingo. Yeah, whoops, get my drawing board straight. And you can see that, catching through here and here. Okay, and over. So I don't think it's hard stuff, but I do think it's important stuff. And it's going to be important when you draw objects from your imagination or from reality. Not just if I see a cone, I have to draw a cone, but if I might see a difficult mechanical structure that I need to draw, either observational or from your imagination, and you're probably going to need the cone at some point, or some type of cone, based off the cylinder. I'll put a little toning into here, shading if you will, or value if you will. You can blend that if you want down and kind of clean that up. And we'll give that a little tighter edge into here. Let me make this a little bit darker. Give it a nice little reflected light there. And then we have another cone now tilting in that direction. Let's keep on going. Let's draw something long and thin. So I might say, okay, let's do a cone in this direction, right? So maybe I want its length to be here, maybe to here. Maybe it's going to go in this direction outward, right? We can do something like that. And so maybe it's going to be shorter. And so I might start to think about putting my ellipse here, okay? Something like that. Just get a feel for that center. You don't have to draw that line, but just want to get a feel for it, where it's at. This is not quite at 90, so I'll just kind of adjust that over, okay? I might say, okay, there's where I want my point. Let's say, okay, from the outer boundaries of my ellipse here and here, right? I've got my cone, and boom, already we're set in. I'll make it a little tighter and sketchier, or clearer and sketchier, actually keep it loose. So I can come in now with my ellipse and through here. This could be like a party hat, a birthday party hat, or it could be a horn, or whatever it's going to be. And we can put that cone in through here and over. Down and through here, I could round it out. Through here if I wanted. Right in through there, okay. Might give that a more plainer expression. Do here. Tighten up a little bit, and then we can shave this side off with some hatching lines. Through there. And then if I wanted to put the light source on it, maybe I have a light source coming in this direction and through here, and that gives maybe over here a little bit of shadow. Okay, and then we could put it maybe down on something, put a little cast shadow on it. Maybe from here to here that does something like this. And we'll just catch our cast shadow like that. Whoops. Get your cast shadow like so. And then we can tighten this up. Yeah. Then we can just group all these shadows together. Watch. So we can group our little form shadow here on our object and our cast shadow on this little table or whatever it's perceiving to be on, cone itself. Okay. We can connect them together. See how we just lay them in together really quickly in through here. And then I'll put a little coarse shadow on this cone. Keep it softer. We want to keep this edge in through here smooth. It's turning, right? It's turning, it's turning, it's turning, turning. So that's got to be smooth. All this has to be smooth, actually. Nice and smooth. Blended edge. We can work it this way a little bit. And then we'll catch our cast shadow underneath it. And where the cast shadow is closest to the cylinder edge, we'll make that a little bit darker. Running through here. And now I'll bring my edge, make it a little bit crispier. And I'll vary that line weight a little bit. I never keep the line weight. Try not to keep it the same width or thickness for too long. And through here. And then we can fade that cast shadow. The further it comes out, the cast shadow comes out to this edge here. I'll go a little bit lighter. So dark and then a little bit lighter. Dark, a little bit lighter. Light is always in flux. We haven't talked about light with our lessons, video lessons, basics yet, but we'll get there too. Properties of light, you can call them laws of light or light reality or whatever you want to, Bud Light or whatever you want to call them. Rules of light. I like to call them properties of light. We'll get into that later. And then since the light source is over here, I might make this coarse shadow just a little bit more intense. Right in through here and fade it off just a little bit. And we can catch this edge over through here. I'm going to take my Sharpie. Just give it a nice little kick. See there, we can combine a little bit if you wanted. And you could take your Sharpie. It's a nice combination trick. And I can catch this edge just because it doesn't smear as much. There and there. Catch that a little bit. Go back and catch this plane to show you that. And this plane to show you that, right? Moving in that direction and moving back in that direction. And then we can also do a little bit of toning right in through here to make this form turn away from us and go back, right, go back in this direction. Which is important too as well. Right in through there, a little bit darker. Not as dark as a coarse shadow. In through here. Right in through where I'm drawing now. This is your coarse shadow, the darkest part of the shadow. And we can turn that. So we get a nice turn of our cone-like object. Then we can darken this in a little bit further. So let's do another one over here. Let's see which direction we want to push it. Maybe down this direction. So it's at a slight tilt. Okay, free-handed or use your ruler running through here. Maybe this length, and I want to make it about from here, okay, to here, right? But maybe I want to cut it off. Maybe I want to cut it off here and make it nice and round. Right in through there. So it's kind of a blunted kind of cone here to there. All right, we get our edge in through there. This could turn, right? This could turn. These could turn. Keep on turning. A little bit more turn as we get to right there. Nice and important as well. So I think we get a good idea of hopefully the kind of constructive, imaginative power that is the cone, that can be the cone in your drawing. Practice all the time, and it will pay off for you in such great dividends that you'll be rewarded with better figure drawings, better imaginative drawings, in drawings that come alive in ways that you'll truly surprise yourself at the power of your technical prowess that you never knew you had when you start to master this stuff and you want to draw a tower or a building or abstract formations out of your mind or plants or whatever it's going to be, and it gives you confidence. The cone gives you confidence. They're confidence builders, the cone and the pyramid, just like the cube, the sphere, and the cylinder. That's what I'll call this lesson. We'll call it the confidence builders, the cone and the pyramid. How about that? Okay, let's do a couple of more down and through here maybe, and then we'll go on to some pyramid drawings. Let's do a cone here where it's coming almost right at us, like it's foreshortened. Okay, so we would start with almost like we did with the cylinder. Okay, we have this here, but what we really want to draw before we finish this out is, and I'll bring its height over, or its width to help us, I suppose. You can bring it down. It's about here to here. Okay, from over. Okay, here's the center. What we really want to draw is this, right? But we're going to do it in severe foreshortening. So there's our cone with no foreshortening. Let's finish it out. Bring up our verticals. Curve out our width here and our cylindrical, elliptical quality. Tighten up this edge a little bit. Put a little dark in there so we can see it. Okay. And of course we know that this turns around like so. Well, what do we do here if it's coming almost right at us? Oh no. What do we do? Well, don't panic. Okay. So there's a couple things. If we want it to come right at us, I'm thinking about this point, right? Here to here. If it was coming right at us, wouldn't it be right in the center? If we're looking right or right down on it, wouldn't it be right there, just like that? Okay. Now, if it was coming over to the left a little bit, this might be pulled here, right? So we might look at it in that direction. Or if it was coming to right, the center might be pulled in this direction. This might get a little bit, the base of it, this part might get a little bit more elliptical. Let's do this. Let's pull it in this direction since we have the drawing space to do so. And let's show you what happens a little bit. So I'm going to pull the point, and I'm going to put it about right here. Not too far away so it doesn't get foreshortened, but about right here. So I'm going to make it darker so we can really see it now, right? And so now what I want to do is I'm going to connect my height, these points to here, curve them around. I'm going to sketch it out first. I like doing that better to get a feel for it. Here, let's see what that looks like. Rounded, 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 and it's coming over, rounded right in through there. It rounds out, and it comes over and rounds this way. Always be curving, right? A, B, C, never, we don't want that. And we don't want that on the edge. Right in through there. Okay, curve. There's your lips curving. Right in through there. Always be curving around. We come down and through here. The confidence builders. I like that. That's about what they are. They build confidence. Okay, and then we can tighten up there. And so now we drew this form of our cone in decently severe foreshortening compared to what we have right here too. All right, so we put it down on the table and we turned it just a little bit to help us out with that. So if I did a little cursory shading here, I might put the shading down in through here. I can put it down on the ground a little bit. The bottom of the shadows might look something like this. Cast shadow there, and then form shadow coming down like so. And of course we have this coming across like so. And this I would even argue we need to turn in a little further. See how that got a little pointy on this edge where I cut that off? Just shave that off just a little bit more. I think will help. Right in through there. And I could take my charcoal and go back, soften that up just a little bit, and through there. Okay. And there you go, we have a cone in foreshortening. All right, so let's go on now to the pyramid and see what we can do with that with some more views. Hey, let's do some pyramids. So let's build some confidence and control with the pyramid, and it's all kinds of varieties in through here. So let's change up a little bit of some viewpoints here. So let's start with one maybe over here, and we'll go in this direction. So I'll start one here, and we'll do a 2-point kind of plane down. So I'll have this here, vertical here. We'll put a 2-point plane down in through here. Again, you'll find your center in through there, right? Okay. And so we'll move it in this direction. So I'll make the edge of my, the height of the pyramid on its edge, on its turn, about right in through there. So I'll bring the points that we see, we'll bring here, okay? We'll bring this here, and we'll bring this down here. And then of course we'll bring this top right side all the way through and over, like so, okay? And then we'll bring our front out, make these lines a little bit darker so you can see them here and there. So we drew inside and out, which is important to see, okay? All right, so there we have our first pyramid laying down that way, and I'll give it a little bit of tonal expression. Come over here. Put a little tonal hatching on. Go back and clean this up a little bit. You can kind of softly cross hatch it, not too harsh in the case of at least this charcoal technique through here. And I can build this edge a little stronger. Shadow tends to congregate in the edges more so, in a general sense, leaving the light in the center, but softly so, just as a kind of general sort of properties of light or sketching. Good sketching practice, I suppose, and through here. And then we'll make this one a little bit lighter over here. Lighter plane and through there. Okay. So now we have a pyramid sitting down on the ground. We've tilted it through. So let's do another one. We'll go maybe in this direction. I'll start a little bit different procedure. Here, here. Maybe I want to build this edge that way. Build this in through here. Build this down and over, like so. Okay, and then I can build, here's my height, and through here. Maybe I want to build that through. So I just had an idea of a direction, just started sketching it, and then started tightening everything up into its formations, if you will. Through here and through here, and through there, nice and sketchy. Try to keep this line varied if you can, those technical lines, if you want to draw them. Then just think it looks kind of nicer, but you want to keep some variation. This is lighter in through here, right? See that? Just showing you the inside to make sure that you can see that. You draw. Darken that in so we can see that. Then I can put some tone here on this edge, or this plane, excuse me. Here. So the coarse shadows tend to congregate, or darker shadows too, along the edges, and they lighten up as reflected light bounces up into them. To here. Just emphasize this direction in that way. It's a planar kind of thing. And there we go. Let's go on to some more here. So we can vary the height, the size. We can vary the angle a little bit. So let's do something maybe. Oh, let's see. We'll go up. We'll tilt in this direction. Maybe like this. A little one-point plane through here. Then I'm thinking, okay, here's my center. This one will do that. Do I want it to go up? Do I want it to go this way? There's so many different ways I could go. Maybe we'll make it go slightly up a little bit, maybe to here, just slightly to there. And there's where the total height will be. All right, well, so I can start to formulate to here, right? To there, to there. And now to my back corner and through here. And let's tighten this up. Now what I don't like about this is that, see how this seems off? It doesn't seem, the height seems strange. So I would actually bring it more to here. So let's do that. So I could just change it. I'll show you in through here to about right here, I think is a better view. Maybe it looks a little bit more in perspective, a little bit better. And then I can take my eraser and we can knock this back a little bit so we can see it as we sketch through here, right? So we can alter that, and we can come back and say, okay, to here, to there. So don't be afraid to change if you don't like it. I didn't like that one. So a little bit straighter, maybe right in through there. Then we can go to our pyramidal bases here, and there, and then back up to there. I think that'll be good. And we can sketch it through a little bit. Yeah, a little bit cleaner, a little bit better look. Okay, now we can tighten this up there and to there. Okay, keep it fresh, keep it loose to there. And then we can say, okay, where do I want my light source to be? Well, okay, let's make the light source coming over here where my hand is up and then this direction. So I'll put a little, kind of a light mark and arrow. This will make this the lightest plane in through here. This will make these two a little bit darker. And if we could see through in the back where this plane is, right here, okay, this triangle, that's our back. That would make it the darkest, but we won't be able to see that. So what we can do now is to make these two planes medium dark here. Okay. I'll just start to begin to tone it in just to show you. Alright, and then also here on the right, we can make this plane a medium dark too, but for variety's sake, I would make one darker than the other. I'm going to make this back one a little darker than the left one or the front one, the one closest to us here. So I can get a kind of a feel for the overall plane, and then to make it a little bit more dimensional, I can come over, sorry if I got my head in the way, I can come over, darken that line, and then darken where those crevasses, along this edge in the corners a little bit. Be careful, you want to blend it as best you can. And if I was doing this on my own without the camera angle, I would turn my paper 360 so I could get a lot more control, but that makes shooting a little chaotic. And through here, so it gives a nice little, see how it hovers a little bit, you've got a little wavering in there which works nicely, and then I'll give the same effect over here but make it a little bit lighter. Kind of a lighter effect. It means that overall this overall plane is lighter than this one, but it has the same effects of a little bit darker value along the edges sometimes in the crevasses or the points of where the planes come together. Of course, you could spend lots of time rendering this out, but we'll keep it brief. Practice the pyramid and the cone to build confidence and control. Should be a challenge. Confidence, control, and challenge yourself even further. So we could build a cast shadow a little bit, maybe this way across the edge of this pyramid. Can you see that? Can you visualize it there? Right? And then maybe across the edge like so. And so we start to give that even more depth, right, and dimension across there. Make it a little bit darker. Bring this edge out to there a little bit. Can tighten up these cast shadow edges, especially as they get closer to the form and they can fade a little bit as they go away from us. And then I might bring some tone, just a little tone on this, just to take some of the lighter bite out. All right, let's move on to some more pyramids. Have fun with the pyramid. It's pretty much a blast. So we can take, well, let's say a 2-point pyramidal kind of form, maybe more rectangular like this right here. Okay, maybe, and then maybe here. So I'll find it that way. And I can tighten it up just a little bit. Put some sketchy lines through here to here. Okay. And there to there. Like so. Okay. Alright. And then we can find our center. Okay, right? If you want to do that, you can. Or you can approximate it. Sometimes you don't get like I did over here. I didn't get it right. I had to change it. Here's our center. So we'll go true vertical down. Like so. 90 degrees really from there if you want. So true vertical. How deep do we want to make it? How long do we want to make it? Really short. We can make a really short one like this if we wanted, right? We could bring that over in through there. I'll make it about this long. So from our points here and here, and I'm only going to draw the ones that we see, not this one. From our points to our top apex here, right, and then here, all the way over, a little bit longer view there, and then over on this side, the left side over to our point there. We start to see our pyramid come together nicely and through here. So we have that, okay, and we have that working for us there. Okay. Where they come together, even just lines. See how I make that apex point where all the planes come together? See how it brings you in more so than here? You could do it a little bit more here. You could do it more here and kind of taper the line like we did in contour. A little bit more darker and then fade a little bit. See how that brings your attention to these points? Because they bring, it's strong change. We have more than two planes coming together, which is really distinctive. You can make that nice and dark. You could do it with a ruler, or you could just do it with your hand, whichever is more convenient. I like to sketch with a hard edge, but you notice my sketches are not, hopefully they're not too stiff. They are geometric in a sense, but I keep them loose and lively. I don't want you to create dead sketches. That sounds weird, dead sketches. Sketches that aren't alive in a sense with touch of the hand. All right, so we have coming up the points here and here, okay? All right, so let's get busy analyzing a little bit of light. So where do you want your light source to be? So we could put it in any direction that we want, okay? We could put it here, shining down. We could put it here, shining over. We could put it here, shining over. I think what I'm going to do is put it here, right, which we haven't had already. So I'm going to put it here, little arrow mark there. So that's going to make this plane the lightest, this left plane. So that'll be my one plane. I can make this either 3 or 2 or 2 or 3, meaning that medium to dark light to planes, right? So I'm going to make this plane 2 here, and I'm going to make this plane 3 in through here. Now there's a 4th plane back here, right, that we don't see, which is fine. We draw this line through, that would make that plane there, but we don't see it. So what that means is that when we have this type of shading, I call it 1, 2, 3 step shading. What does that mean? Light, medium, and a dark plane, okay? When you have the same plane of an object with one light source, when you have same plane, same value. Well, since we have 3 planes and the light source is moving in this direction, we're going to have 3 planes in 3 different values. This is going to be medium dark, and this is going to be darker, and this will be my lighter plane. So a quicker way to expedite this process is to lay in with your value. And notice I'm kind of using the conductor method of holding my pencil. I can lay in my value here. I can bring this edge to here if I want. Kind of abut it, like so. And I can do that here in this plane all in one shot. So bring your medium value to both planes, because plane number 3 is going to be darker anyway. Well, go ahead and do them all together. And notice I'm value toning. I'll show you another trick too, is you can run your value. Look how I'm running off the edge here. Just run it off the edge. It looks like, oh, he's being sloppy. Oh no, terrible craftsmanship. He's not coloring within the lines. Well, there's a reason why. I'll show you, especially with soft charcoal. We can do that like so. You get a nice, fresh, loose, but controlled shading technique going right already. Then you can take your eraser, right, and your ruler, line up your edge, and just kill all that off. Take it all off. So nobody's worse for wear and tear, right? Running through here, and look at that. You're good to go. And nice clean edge. You can clean that up. And then you could take your straight edge and make that line a little crisper. But it's kind of sketchy. All right, then we can do the same thing. So we have medium value here, right? Okay, now we want to get one step darker through here. All right, so we'll go here again, and we'll do the same thing, but we'll go now just a little bit darker. And I'll take it back over that line again, because I can kill that back off. And so you just run it off the edge, keeps it nice and fresh. And now I'm going to shade also with the idea in mind that we're going to move shadow and light across this a little bit better. So shadow will congregate in the corners a little bit better, or a little bit darker, darker, a little bit more. like so. And you can hear that tick, 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 tick mark. That's just me hitting the edge of the abutting of the ruler. So I'm doing them both ways. I'm just doing it a different way on this side. So I'll take this over. And I'm taking great pains to leave the interior of my pyramid a little lighter. So light skipping, it's doing a nice skip dance. Skip the light fandango. It's doing a light skip dance across the form. This light's in flux and it's moving, and we want to keep this moving and grooving a little bit. We can make this darker down and through here. Really nice and dark to a point. And then we can take, again, your ruler or your hard edge, line that up to your edges here and here. And then you can take your this kneaded eraser. In this case, you could use a white Staedtler eraser if you want to as well. Either way is fine. And just clean this off. Clean up that edge a little bit, right? That's what's great about charcoal. So now it's a little extra technique to show you through there. Take that, clean it off, and if you have your trusty brush, you can brush that off, or you can use your breath, or I've used air devices if you need them at times for more specific kind of advanced things. So we have that, and then we can come over and control this through here, like so. And see how I make a darker line where it's the darker value, even push that even more. I can push this even further, like so. And we want to do it on all three sides, even the light side. So let's now put in our number 2 plane of our pyramid, let's put a little bit more darker value along the edges here. And I'll come across and draw over them, and I can erase this out. Remember, we want to keep this overall plane lighter than number 3 plane, right? And through here just a little bit more. And in this edge, I'm keeping a very light touch with my pencil. I'm just stroking it across. Okay. And along this edge down in through here. You take this out and over. Even into the white space of the number 1 plane. Just fine. Powerful stuff here. Okay, then I can take my ruler and my edge, and we can take this off, and I'll take my Staedtler eraser here. I can get a little tighter edge just to show you differences. Take that off here, and here and there. Okay. There we go. And then we can do it down at the bottom here. Just bring this edge across. Or you could use your eraser shield, right? Remember that one? I've got this here. You could use the blunt end of it, just lay that over like so, and erase it over. How about that? So we got a little extra technique there. Different tool, same kind of process. You could clean these up if you wanted through there. My drawing. Or you could do this drawing. You may not use charcoal. You might use ballpoint pen or something different. Try to use the same materials. That would be smart. And I can clean up any smears and smudges I have later on. Work on your craftsmanship. Make sure your craftsmanship is clean and precise. And even though it's a sketch, I get that, but it's you know the difference between clean drawing and a smudgy one. And then I can go back and catch my edges a little bit and through here. And I can still work that a little bit further if I want. I could come back and see, okay, a little bit more. so. Okay. Maybe along here a little bit, and then this one in the darkest plane could maybe go a little bit darker, so I could catch here to here and up and over, like so. And I get in the habit when I shade, I turn my pencil, I twirl it sometimes. Stop, and I'll twirl it just to keep all my edges in control, and they kind of smooth out and blend, and they help with the craftsmanship of the drawing too. That's a kind of a little weird technique. And then lastly, with plane number 1, we'll skip a little light across it too. But not a whole lot, but just a little bit. So I'll just kind of gently rake a little charcoal across here. Okay, nice and light. Congregate a little bit more dark in the corners. I can go over into plane number 3 and work with that too. I can start raking over, and I can rake over the edge over here on the outside border in the negative space too, and into this tone, because you can't really see it, it won't show up much, and it makes it nice and smooth. And I can congregate a little bit more dark in this corner, lighten up my touch, really lighten up, almost not even drawing, a little bit darker in this lighter corner, and a little bit darker in this lighter corner down and through here. Overdraw, right? And then now I can take my eraser, and I can take my hard edge or my eraser shield, whichever weapon you want to use for your drawing techniques. I can clean that up, or use my brush. I can lay this down over the edge. Sometimes you have to lay it a little bit further in because of the thickness of the tools. Then it can come across this way, so hopefully you can see that even better and tighten up that edge against that. And then lastly, over here as well. Okay. So now we're really cooking. So now we've got 3 or 4 pyramids, and I think you get the idea of what we're trying to do here with these structures. So the cone and the pyramid are confidence builders, confidence and control. That's the name of them. That's what you're looking for. And you can take I could take a Sharpie here, and we could do a little bit of contouring around just to show even extra kind of things that go on here, right? Moving in this direction. So we have this nice way of showing planes moving here, so everything is moving right in these kinds of directions, just to get that deep sense of contour that you want. Then we get plane number 1, moving back, and we're really working with, and we're emphasizing this structure here, this 2-point kind of structure, going back in this direction, right? And then we're going back in this direction. And we're going back even further in this direction. And so on, to get the idea. And this starts to give you such a good feeling and idea of depth and dimension. All right, so there you go. So there's the cone, there's the pyramid, there's your confidence and your control, and you're building on your skill sets in addition to the sphere, the cube, and the cylinder. Okay? All right, so hope you got something out of this, and stay tuned, and we'll have more videos, and we'll do something soon where we take a lot of these different forms and we'll start to mash them together and make all kinds of imaginative, different, weird, and maybe funky kinds of subforms and more complex kinds of forms. So these are the building blocks, your three best friends, the cube, the sphere, the cylinder, and I would think you're drawing buddies to the cone and the pyramid. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.